Now the news from this week in decades past.
Here's News 8 Now's Dave McKinley with News 8 Then.
10 years ago this week.
For once, mister, you better answer your phone because my attorney is calling you today. How dare you?
A piping hot Kathie Lee Gifford defending herself amid a scandal which erupted when a labor activist claimed that much of her line of children's clothing was actually being made by children working in sweatshops. Her saber rattling was only thwarted by that old legal saying which goes, you can't sue if it's true, which it was. Speaking of disasters, this was also the week McDonald's unveiled the Arch Deluxe. Aimed at grown-ups, it was billed as a more sophisticated burger for the adult palate, but it also contained something adults did not want, an extremely high caloric content. And thus, after $300 million in research, production, and marketing, the Arch Deluxe went down as one of the biggest flops in fast food history, despite its big unveiling this week in 1996. 20 years ago this week, another new product, this one the brainchild of Rochester entrepreneurs, and much more successful because still going strong after 2 decades, and so too would you be with all the sugar and twice the caffeine, Jolt Cola, which began hitting store shelves nationwide this week in 1986. 30 years ago this week, well, your mainframe definitely would have been bigger then, but believe it or not, this arcane-looking computer did afford the opportunity for fun and games.
One such is trying to land a rocket ship on the moon.
I would somehow doubt this cutting-edge technology would capture a kid's imagination today the way it might have this week in 1976. 40 years ago this week, Hickok Manufacturing in Lyons was humming along, producing one product in particular that was experiencing soaring demand. Take a look for yourself and see if you can answer this week's News 8 Then Pop Quiz, which is, what did this Wayne County factory produce more of than just about any other plant in the entire nation this week in 1966? Meanwhile, the theme for that year's annual spring weekend at RIT was Showboat. No one had a problem with that per se, but the Congress of Racial Equality did take exception to one display for the way it depicted African Americans in the 19th century. They asked the students who made it to take this down. They refused, although they did comply with a request to move one display not seen here. It was of a black man chomping on a watermelon, and it was all News 8 Then.
Here's the answer to this week's News 8 Then Pop Quiz. We asked, what was Hickok Manufacturing of Lyons making so much of 40 years ago this week?
Did you take a close look at the pictures? Seat belts, that's what those are. Hickok was knocking out 15,000 a day at its Wayne County plant for both GM and American Motors, and was one of the largest makers of seat belts anywhere in the country.